Hey everybody, and welcome to an episode of Fixing Other People's Shitty Mod Work. Today we are working on an N64 that has been modded with Tim Worthington's, actual, real Tim Worthington's N64 RGB board, which is similar to the one that I install, Bordy, the redesigned by Bordy. But, so here's the deal. A customer sent this in to me. They purchased it on eBay. They didn't say who from, but some eBay modder, and which I am also an eBay modder, but it wasn't me. I'll tell you that. And they reported they had some weird interference issues. They thought might have been related to the cabling they were using, so they purchased a different SCART cable and still had the same issues. So they contacted me to see if I could do anything about it. And so basically what we're going to be doing here is exploring what the issue is and trying to solve it. We're going to try to reuse the Tim Worthington board that's in here instead of replacing it, but if we have to, we'll replace it depending on what exactly is wrong. So let's go ahead and take a look here at what it looks like when we try to fire this up with a game in it. So let's see. Oh, that's weird. Come on, OSSC. There we go. So that's what it looks like. I don't know if it was this bad. The way the customer described it didn't sound this bad. They were just talking about noise that you see in the picture. But the color stuff that's happening here, that's been happening since I received it. So what I'm guessing is that there's a soldering issue in here. Probably something's broken loose in the digital side of the mod. And so what you're seeing is just radically reduced color depth due to the fact that the soldering is bad. So what's most likely going to happen here is I'm just going to take out the existing wiring and just run new wire and resolder it, and it should be fine. And then while we're at it, I'll probably check and see what firmware version this N64 RGB board is on. And we'll even see about upgrading that to Bordy's version of the firmware that has the IGR functions built into it instead of a switch. So we'll see. This is a nightmare. This looks like pure nightmare fuel. So let's get back here and let's shut this thing off and open it up and see what it looks like inside. I have taken the top off already just to do a preliminary inspection, and it doesn't look great. But I haven't actually taken the board out and inspected under the heatsink or anything like that. So that's what we're going to be looking at here. Let's see. So, couple things here. First of all, as you can see, Tim Worthington's board's a little bit different than the one I install. The one I install is a little bit more of a compact version of Tim Worthington's board. It's more or less the same thing, but just trimmed down smaller. Couple things to notice here. First of all, if you look at the soldering, it doesn't look great. And I imagine there's probably a short. There could very well be a short right here. No, well, maybe not. Maybe not. But I mean, this is not great looking soldering. So that's a strike against it right there. But another thing to look at here is just there's an excessive amount of wire here. And C-Sync was not wired up. See, this was a problem. Whenever I initially went to test it, I couldn't get any sync. And that's because C-Sync was not actually wired up on this board. So I had to just kind of shove a wire in, just shove this black wire kind of haphazardly on there to do a quick test of sync. And then this switch here that switches the something. I don't remember what this is for in Tim Worthington's board. I'll have to look it up in the guide. But anyway, this is just kind of loose. It was just loose in here in the N64. Kind of bizarre. So, yeah, it's not a great looking install. So let's go ahead and dig a little deeper and see what exactly we are getting ourselves into here. Okay. We're getting there. Sorry, I would have gotten these screws out in advance, but I didn't really plan for it. Sadly. I'm curious how this board's mounted, because I guess there are no components on the back side of it. It seems like it's just flat against the heatsink. There's like a double-sided adhesive back there. Okay. So kind of strip this screw out a little bit, looks like. Yeah, I don't know about whoever did this mod. It does not look great so far. Okay, let's see what the back side looks like. The wires going to the AV actually don't look too bad. They're a little bit long, but they're actually seem to be pretty decent shape as far as, you know, being soldered and everything properly. They don't look bad, so I'll give them credit there. Let's go ahead and yank this C-Sync bodge wire. Okay, moment of truth. Time to see what the digital side looks like. Oh, God. Bunch of hot glue. This is terrible. This is awful. Okay. Well, let's employ Voltar's method of hot glue removal. Got a rag here just soaked with IPA, and we're just gonna lovingly massage that IPA right down in there. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be sexual. It's going to be wonderful. I'm sorry, that's my best Voltar impression that I can do. I'm sure it was bad. It was bad. I'm aware. We want a little bit more IPA than that. That's just not enough IPA, I don't think. We really want to soak the IPA. You really want to soak it right in there. You know, you really want to just get it deep in there, the IPA. Okay. Trying to pick some of that out if I can. Look at it. Why do people do this? It's not good. It's not good. Okay. Well, this just does not look great. It just does not look great all the way around. Okay, so this is Tim's adapter board. I think it's a lost cause, to be honest. I think I'm going to remove the entire thing because it's a Mavnus. So I think I'm going to remove the little flexible adapter board here because the adhesive is messed up on it now because of the alcohol. Let's see here. Is it salvageable at all? Is it even a little bit salvageable? Well, maybe. You know what? I'm doing it, man. I'm doing it. I'm just gonna completely remove the flex. And we're gonna switch over to the adapters that I use on my installs. If you need this sort of mod work done, you can visit my eBay store. My username is Arthrimus. I sell modding services. I sell pre-modded consoles. I have a variety of different options that you can check out yourself at ebay.com/ I don't know. Probably not /Arthrimus. I don't know if eBay has vanity links like that, but you know. You can find me there if you need me. Alright. Let's grab a Mavnus adapter. See, the thing about this is, it's got the switch, which implies to me that this has an out-of-date firmware on it. But I don't know that for sure. I think I will try to update the firmware anyway and see if I can get IGR working. I think that would be a nice thing to do, since I've got it here and I have the hardware to do it. Heck, I don't even know if this older design here even has the de-blur option. I mean, I know that there is a version of the firmware that supports it for these original Tim Worthington boards, but I don't know if Tim sells one that has that firmware on it. Okay. So, go ahead and solder in our adapter board. And we're going to switch to a different soldering tip for this part of the procedure. Oh, and I got some new Amtech flux, so I'm good to go on flux again, which was a real concern there for a little while. But Louis Rossmann has my back in the same way that he has every one of his customers' backs. Insofar as his stuff comes back in stock whenever he gets it, which is good. Aw, damn. Where's my tweezers? Time to get serious. All right, let's flux it up. No such thing as too much flux. All right, looks soldered to me. But does it look soldered to the microscope? That's the question. I think I know the answer, though. You know, it does look soldered to the microscope. The microscope gives its approval. So now, we have the ever important step of making sure there are no shorts. I don't see any shorts, but it's important to verify. Seems good. No shorts reported. Okay. Let's go ahead and prep some new wire. Okay, let's look at the pinout on here. D0 through D6. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to check the board, the mod as well here. Trying to let you guys see what I'm doing here. Okay. See what the pinout is. Okay, it looks like D0 through 6. Then 3 volts, then DS, then ground, then a clock, then ground. So we're gonna do our wire rearranging over on this side, and we're just gonna wire this one straight up on the motherboard side. No shenanigans. I want it to be as straightforward as possible in the motherboard side. Okay. Let's go ahead and tin the adapter. Okay. Okay, so that's the digital line soldered. You see, that's nice and sturdy and doesn't need any hot glue. It's amazing how that works if you just do it properly the first time. You don't even, you believe it or not, you don't even need hot glue. You just, it's completely unnecessary. All right. Okay, that's power. And now we fold over. And we go from there. As we always do. So basically we're shooting for right here. So I'm going to grab some of my adhesive. And there we go. We're going to try to get IGR working on this too, like I said. But we'll deal with that later. Our main thing right now is to figure out whether or not the actual modding board that is installed in here is even functional. Because we were getting some really bizarre interference, like digital interference, that I wasn't thrilled about. But we'll see. Okay, so the way that Tim's board is designed, it pretty much, there's not a great way to do this. I suppose I could do, what is the most efficient way to make this happen? This right here? Yeah. That seems pretty reasonable. That seems like a pretty reasonable wire run. It's, you know, maybe, oh yeah. Yeah, if we rotate it around like this. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty tight run. Not too close to anything. So we're basically looking to cut it right here. We're gonna leave excess because I have to rearrange some of these wires. Okay, I left myself way more than I need, actually. Okay, I'm going to trim the first 7 wires off and leave a little bit of excess on the remaining wires so that I can route those around. The reason I'm trimming the first 7 off is because that's D0 through D6. Those will not need to be rearranged at all. So I can confidently say that they are going to be fine. Okay. Let's go ahead and clean these pads up. Get rid of all the old solder. Okay. This is going to be tough to show, so I apologize if you can't see this very well. But we're going to start by soldering D5. I mean D0 is what I meant to say. And then we're going to solder D6. Okay, so those are soldered now, so now I can go through and individually solder the rest. Okay, so those are good. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, because the pinout is not the same on the ribbon as it is on the Tim Worthington's board, and that's because Tim Worthington's board uses a pinout based on his own little adapter that he sells, and Bordy's adapter uses a pinout based on Bordy's own board, so the adapters are not exactly compatible with one another. But it's no big deal. It's no big deal. We're not worried about it. We just got to do a little rearranging here. So the second to last pin on this ribbon is the 3.3 volt line, and the last pin is the ground line. So we're going to solder 3.3 volts to this pin here, and then we've got what is that? DS, digital sync, goes in between it, and then the next pin is ground, and then the last pin is clock. So it's all accounted for. Just a little bit of rearranging. Not a big deal. Okay, go ahead and strip these. The thing about this is, like, if you have to rearrange some wiring, I would rather do it up on the top of the board than try to do it underneath the heatsink, because those are not finer pitch, honestly, but the quarters that you're working in are tighter. It's just not as fun. It's just not as fun. I mean, it's still fun. The whole thing is fun. But it's not as fun. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So you see we have a 3.3 volts, and we have ground, and then we have DS. Actually, I don't know if you can see that. So DS and clock are on the other two sides of that. So now these two wires, which are DS and clock, need to go in between in those two spaces. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. It's all soldered. I'm going to add a small smidge of flux on those last 4 there and reflow them just a little bit to clean them up a little bit. Okay, that's that. Okay, so it should be time to test again. I know I haven't replaced all the wiring, but at least we can test and see what kind of improvement we've got here. Oh shit. This switch just came detached. I'm not sure what that switch... Oh, this is... Oh, God. These are cold joints. That's horrible. Oh. Well, okay. I'm not sure what this switch controls. I had to look at the instruction manual on it because the ones I install have the de-jitter... Or not. What am I talking about? That's for the Super Nintendo. They have the IGR functions in the firmware. So you do all your controls from the controller rather than an actual physical switch. And this didn't have C-Sync, like I said, so go ahead and add C-Sync in there. Just, this is not the permanent installation for the C-Sync either. I'm just kind of hacking it in there a little bit more elegantly for test purposes here. Okay. Okay, let's see here. No sync. Let's check the PVM. Oh, hold on a second here. That's weird. My power brick is misbehaving. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna run this off to the other room where I've got another N64 power supply, and we'll see what I can do there. Let's see here. Okay, I'll be right back. I will be right back. I'm back. I don't know why my power supply suddenly gave out on me, but I went and got the other power supply from the other room. And it seems to be working fine. Let's see here. Get you switched back over to the OSSC so that y'all can see what's going on. What's going on? Oh, the OSSC's not set to the right input. Well, that explains it. Okay, well that doesn't explain why the power supply went out, but hey, there you go. Look at that. That right there's an image that doesn't look like pure insanity. Well, that's a successful repair right there. Man, this right here, not okay, man. This is not okay. This is just, it's nasty, it's terrible, and it's unacceptable. Well, that's pretty much all I got for you. I'm gonna look into doing a firmware update on this one and adding those IGR functions and everything. But I'm going to do that on my own time. And I'm going to run a new analog AV wires setup here. Because this is kind of, it's just kind of sloppy. But other than that, it's really all there is to it. So there you go. You don't have to buy shitty mods on eBay. That's, you know, that's really the main point I want to get to here. You know, I sell my mods at a reasonable price. I don't think that I'm asking much, you know, too much for them. And I do quality work. And if you buy garbage like this, one of the main things that you want to look for when buying stuff on eBay is to see somebody's work. You want them to be transparent with you about what they do, how they do it, and the quality of their work. That's why I do this YouTube stream channel, because I want you to see everything I do, the quality of the work that I do. I want you to see the whole process so that it's completely transparent. This kind of stuff, you know, it's, I hate to say it, but it's not for just anybody to do, you know. It's fun, and I encourage as many people as I can to get into it, but it's not for literally every person. There are some people who just shouldn't have anything to do with console modding like this. And this kind of work right here is unacceptable to sell. You should not be buying work, you know, this poor. And people who sell work that is done this poorly should be ashamed for doing so. So, I mean, I guess that's the end of my rant, but just make sure that you get pictures of the work that somebody's doing so that you understand what kind of quality you're buying. And if you want to guarantee that you're going to get good quality, I have an eBay store, you know, I have an eBay page you can buy from, and I do all kinds of stuff. So, you know, just keep an eye on the channel. Keep an eye on the streams, and if you see something you're interested in, send me a message, you know, get in touch with me. I do pretty much anything. Whatever you need done, I can do it. So that's about it. That's all I got for you. I'm going to go ahead and finish up a few odds and ends on this one and ship it back out. Thanks for watching.